What is your favourite part of this exhibition?
Well, actually, there are lots of favourite parts, but you've put me here next to one of my favourite things, which is this lovely excerpt from a film from Sky Television about the Pogue singer Shane MacGowan, who was famous for having really, really poor teeth from abuse, I guess, over the years. Somebody famously described him as having a mouth like a burned-out castle. And we've got this rather lovely moment of the film where he's finally decided to have his teeth replaced, partly because it makes eating very difficult. So he couldn't bite an apple, for instance. And there's a lovely moment in the film where he wakes up from having a new set of teeth, a new set of implants. And the surgeon is so confident in the work that he's done that he gives him an apple and says, Shane, this is going to feel strange, but take a bite out of the apple. And he does on camera. And it's he's very, very hesitant. But as well as being a rather beautiful moment, I think it also shows something about the kind of sensitivities that we all have about our teeth and our mouths. Why are we so sensitive about them? Why are some people very afraid of the dentist? Some people don't like the idea of anybody they don't like the idea of looking in other people's mouths, and they don't like the idea of people fiddling about in their own mouths. And why is that? And I think this film kind of speaks to that very eloquently.
That actually leads on to my next question of why is this fascinating for people? Why are they going to leave? And I think most people are just going to be like, that was amazing and fascinating. I certainly am. Why, in your opinion, do you think that is?
I think it looks at some of the horrors of sort of pre-anesthesia, of what people used to have to go through in the 17th century, 18th century, and actually until much more recently. If you're unfortunate enough to have toothache, which was simply the only cure was to yank it out, and that could be quite a brutal process. But then it sort of follows that up into the 20th and 21st century and looks at the kind of increased understanding of the importance of not just going to the dentist when you've got toothache, but of actually looking after your teeth really carefully. And I hope there's a bit of kind of levity that comes into the exhibition through things like looking at the tooth fairy and the important stages of kind of gaining and losing teeth through our lives and how they kind of mark important periods in our life. And there's some lovely letters that we have between different children and the tooth fairy kind of entering into lengthy correspondence, and we feature some of those in the exhibition, and indeed we're asking people to send us in more. So I hope that people will leave not just with the gruesome, but with some of the kind of lighter and more reassuring aspects of dentistry. And there's some really nice interviews with dentists talking about how they try to work with people who are anxious to kind of decrease that anxiety. And there are also implements which show that in the future it won't be such an invasive thing to have to go to the dentist, that they can do incredibly sophisticated work without the patient having to suffer.
Yeah.